What's up, everybody? This is your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog. We are still making America great again behind us. I'm going to keep trolling all week long. You know what time it is. But listen, I brought back one of the guests that's highly requested. Y'all have all kind of questions underneath the last video and the other videos, but listen, bring them today. All right, we got Mr. Diamond Dave of Stock Market Sharks, and we are wanting you guys to share your city and state with us in the chat so we know where y'all you guys are coming from. I know the number one thing you guys are looking for, how to increase my income in these changing times. So the topic of this video is the stock market melt up, question mark. Now, why do I got a question? Because some people were nervous. They said, do I need to focus now? Do I need to get in now? What do I need to do? And so I said, let me bring somebody that can help you out with some of those questions. Introduce yourself to our audience, Mr. Diamond Dave.
What's going on, everybody? Glad to be here again. Always glad to come through. Diamond Dave, also known as David W. Williams, or David W. Williams, also known as Diamond Dave, founded the highest paid part-time job in the world, also the founder of the Stock Market Sharks stock trading community, and really glad to be here. Let's go ahead and get into it.
All right, so
okay,
the internet's been juicy and rumbling, okay? It's been rumbling for days, ever since he got in, and I feel like the average person is like, what do I do now? I'm excited. You know, some people are devastated, but I don't want people to get stuck in emotion. Yeah. I want them to be active. And with this much time left in the year, I think we have 47 days left in the year. Is that enough time, Diamond Dave, for them to like get in the market, study, educate, be ready?
Yeah, it's more than enough time because today's always the best time to start. Mm-hmm. So what I would encourage people to do is not wait until, New Year, wait until something happens. I would encourage people to get in now, get things going. So when we go into the new year, you already have something going for yourself. So to me, today is the best day to start, right? Today is going to be the best day. Tomorrow, that's going to be the best day to start and really keep going. But I would really encourage you to do is not sit around and wait, not get frozen. And also just don't get caught into a lot of the fear narratives that a lot of people are putting out to where you're just supposed to be so terrified that you don't do anything, because really the goal is to make you dependent upon them to do something as opposed to you trying to do something for yourself, right? So I'm a big fan of people working in groups. I'm a big fan of organizations, but at the same time, you as an individual need to start trying to figure out what do you need to do to start moving forward and take advantage of those opportunities. And that's why we're here today. They'll kind of get you to understand what opportunity exists in the market, how you can take advantage of it, and then also some offers around education to kind of help you in that particular area.
Awesome. So, guys, he has an awesome set of courses, and it's also a Discord group?
Big Discord group, because we want to really big on the community. So you're not just buying the course and you're kind of on your own. You got other people that you can talk to, because the goal is to continue to develop you so you can get better and better in this space. So when these type of things happen, you automatically see the opportunity.
Okay. Yeah. So the biggest question is this working its way to a stock market melt up in 2025?
Potentially. Let's kind of see how it rolls out. So what we're looking for is, we saw last week, once Trump got elected, it took a lot of the anxiety out of the market. And so what we saw was a really, really strong run up. Often we see run ups that strong, we're going to see some what we call profit taking, where people have made so much money over the past 7 to 10 days. They're looking now to take some of that money out of the market. Right. So what we're looking for is maybe a little bit of a sell-off as we get ready to close this week out, then kind of see next week how things start. But again, we believe normally this time of the year, what we call a Santa Claus rally, where towards the end of the year, the market moves up just because of a lot of retail activity. And so that's what we're looking for, especially if next week, a lot of the retailers report really, really positive and they guide well going into next year. We could see the market keep moving up.
Man, you just said Santa Claus rally. The first thing I thought is, let me call AM1. Let's make up a bunch of Santa Claus stuff and marketing and content already. Okay. Santa Claus rally. Okay. So I tell people this, and I don't think they believe me. I go, the end of the year, you're stressing about the holidays, but people are buying tax liens. People are in the stock market. People that make money are making money. People that have stores right now, Shopify stores, they're selling. Santa Claus rally, man, that's a good one. I like that. There's so much I can say on that, but I'm gonna keep it moving. Okay. If somebody came to you today and they say, Diamond Dave, I don't know jack about jack. I don't know. There's just so many stocks. Okay. How do you, kind of understand them? How do you keep track of them? What do you do?
Okay, that's a great question. It's something that we developed to try to get people to create a solution for that particular question, right? Because that's something that a lot of people deal with. So in our program, we have something that we call the Power 5. Okay. And what we encourage people to do is take a basket of stocks and only focus on those basket of stocks.
Gotcha.
And what it does, it allows you to become an expert on those stocks, how they move, what their movement is, how things are going to impact those stocks. And then once you get really, really good at that, then you can expand. But what it does, it avoids the anxiety of having to wake up every morning, similar to what the question asks, and try to figure out what stock is hot this day.
Okay.
Just figure out, let me get minimum one, but maybe up to make maximum 5 stocks. I'm just going to focus on those, let's say maybe 6 months to a year. And those would be the stocks that I would trade in and out of. And then once I decide those long gonna work for what I'm trying to do, then I switch those out with something else. But what it does is it teaches people, and it's something I'm really passionate about, is where you become an expert on that stock. And here's the twist to it. And you were talking about people asking you a lot of questions about one particular ticker.
Yeah.
Once you learn how to trade one ticker really well, it's easy to bring people to you as the expert because you know that ticker so well. Right? So what a lot of people learn how to do is milk one ticker.
Right.
And if that ticker is really popular, they can show a really good track record with that ticker. They not only can make money off that ticker, they can also sell that expertise to somebody else.
Man, listen, y'all better put Power 5 in the comments right now. Put Power 5 because that's a little hint right there. I don't know if you remember him, Dominic, but there's a black man with glasses. He's from Moorhead. He has a research firm, and he young guy. And he would come on CNBC, Fox Business every couple of days, just beating up on Tesla. I mean, just talking about bad about it. I'm like, where they find this brother at? And how much is they paying him to be talking bad about Tesla like this every week, right? And that was his specialty. Yeah. They would ask him a question about something else, and he'd be like, well, in reference to Tesla. And I'd be like, that was all he was there to talk about, was Tesla. Yeah. And maybe some people just make money off 1 or 2 stocks or make money off the spot. You know, that seems to be a technique some people are using. Yeah, definitely. And I think that what that helps is that it allows people to just really focus on something. So stocks like Tesla that have a lot of activity, a lot of volume, Apple, Nvidia, the Spy, which has all the volume in the world, it allows a person to wake up and kind of know what their plan is, as opposed to what has historically been taught, where you wake up and you got to use something like a scanner to try to figure out what are going to be the hot stocks for the day. Gotcha. You know what particular stocks, kind of based on how they trade, are going to be hot every day. So then we just focus on those. And so even if you're not going on one of those bigger tickers, I just think it benefits people to become an expert on the stock, because once you become an expert on the stock, you then become an expert on that particular industry. Gotcha. And then you understand that's going on. So then when you have something like what we're getting ready to see, where you're getting administrative change, you know how that administrative change is going to impact that stock and that industry. Then you can start to position yourself to benefit from it, whether it's going to be the upside or to the downside. Okay. I like that. So, you know, if I said, you know, because I got some really good questions, y'all. Thank y'all for responding to the emails. We love that. One of the questions was, how do I find good companies? So how would they find their Power 5? Okay, this is really good. So what you want to really look at is first, and I learned this over time. What I tell people that a lot of times it's going to be easier for them when they first come into this space is what we would call consumer discretionary or what we really call like retail stocks. And the reason why we tell people retail stocks is because it's easy for you to make an attachment to them. Right. If you go into Walmart on a regular basis, you go into Target on a regular basis, the stocks that you deal with on a regular basis, it can be easier for you to understand them, as opposed to maybe you go into a semiconductor stock and you really don't understand the semiconductor space. Right. So first I would tell people, what are you kind of familiar with and what do you believe you can wrap your head around? Second thing is that, can you afford to trade it? Right. So one thing about Tesla, because everybody's over there, they price the contracts really, really expensive. That's going to be relative to some people. Right. And so people may feel like, well, I'm very interested in it, but I necessarily can't afford to trade it. But if you look at Walmart or Target, you don't get those really expensive stuff because they don't have that cult following around them. Right. But there is a lot of volume, a lot of activity, and you can understand their business because why? You go retail shopping every day. For sure. So then I would go to second is that, can you afford it? Third is that, does it have enough volume? And what I mean by volume is that, is there enough activity there to move the actual stock? Okay. So what I wouldn't want to do is be looking at something to where it trades at such a low volume, nothing's happening over there. Right. Then the fourth thing would really be, is it volatile? And what I mean by volatile is that, is it going up or going down? Because what we want to look for as traders, we want a direction. What we don't want is something that just trades sideways. Okay. And all the time that's going to be correlated to the volume, right? So if you see a ticker where it has no volume and it's just trading sideways in a very, very tight range, it can be hard to trade it, because what we look for as traders is direction. I don't care if it goes up or down. I can make money either way, but I do need a direction to trade. Okay. Yes, ma'am. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. So someone had one of the questions is, what are some of the best ways to learn? Since we're picking Power 5, we're looking for volume, we're doing this. What are some of the best ways to learn?
Well, I would encourage you to get somebody that actually has experience in the space and has the ability to teach you and try to learn from that person.
Okay.
You can try to learn off the YouTube. I have like over probably 250 free YouTube videos around the stock market. But the benefit of learning from what we put together is not only do you get the education in the community, you also get a chance to ask questions. So a lot of times when you buy a course from somebody, something that course will provide is just the information, but you may not be able to follow up with any questions, yada, yada, yada. I've had people that bought the course from me from 3 years ago. They still have the ability to follow up with me about what they're going through.
That's what I'm talking
about.
What
I would do is I would learn from somebody that has shown a commitment to teaching people in the space. They've been consistent. They're very passionate about it. They're not fly by night. And then I would try to determine, what are my goals for myself in this particular program and try to help that person work towards those goals.
Right. Okay. I like that. There's a question somebody had gave me, so I want you to let me know how to frame this. It's like, how much can you risk?
Okay, that's very good. So the first thing I always encourage people to do is the number one thing they want to look for as a trader is they have to practice risk management. So how much they can risk will really depend upon themselves, their account, their risk tolerance. Right. And that's something they have to determine themselves. But what I always try to help people understand is that your number one job as a trader or even as an investor is to manage the risk associated with your activity. So they would have to figure out internally, based on my account, based on what I'm doing, how much can I risk on my account? But the most important thing they need to learn, and this is a question that I would ask them to ask themselves, is when I enter into a trading or investment scenario, what am I looking to profit? And then what am I willing to take as a loss?
Right.
Because I think most people don't ask themselves when they go into a scenario, what am I willing to lose to get the gain? So they would ask themselves that. Right. So let's say hypothetically, I got $100,000 trade, but I believe I can make $50,000 on the trade. What am I willing to lose to try to get to $50,000? So I say I may be willing to lose $10,000 to try to get to 50. So once I lose the 10,000, then I leave the actual market. I cut it. So now I have the 90,000. I wasn't able to get to 50, but I was willing to lose 10 to get to the 50,000. Yes, ma'am.
To take a risk. Yeah. So I had two of those things in response to the risk question. There was a motivational speaker at this conference I was at, and he was like, are you a worrier? Are you a warrior? Right. Yeah. He's like, some of y'all get up and you're like, oh Lord, I'm in the stock market. And this guy said, how much did you put in there? I put $1,000. And he's like, if you can't sleep at night, take it out. Right.
Exactly. You have to.
And so I think that was the question on risk was some people are warriors. Some people, they need to know. They need to close it out immediately. They can't have a swing trade out there.
Exactly. And I tell people, I want to say real quick, I tell traders all the time, if you go to sleep at night and you're worried about a position, you need to sell it. You need to sell it. If you go to sleep at night and you're worried about your positions, you need to sell it. That's why some people, they close all their positions out before the market closes. But if you're going to bed at night and you're worried about the positions you have, you need to sell those positions because you're not going to be able to get no sleep.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because some stocks are super volatile. You wake up in the morning, you're like, what happened?
Exactly.
Okay, we asked that. So somebody said they asked about small account strategies. They got a little bit of money and they want to figure out what can they do with a small account.
Okay. You can do a lot with a small account. A small account is going to be relative. So, I trade with an account that's probably going to be a few $1,000s in cash. For some people, that's too small for them to do what they want to do. Somebody else, that may be a big account. So small is going to be relative. But for me, I started off with a few $100s and I was primarily trading bank stocks. And I was trading bank stocks because the options on those bank stocks were what I would consider in my budget. So if I'm just starting off, what I would tell somebody to do is try to find something that works within their budget. And just continue to work on those until I get good enough at it to where I can now build my account bigger. So I know somebody that has a smaller account, they're trading SoFi. Because they can afford the contracts around SoFi and they understand the business that they're involved in and they like actual looking at that company. So what I would always tell somebody is to start small, put the work in to grow it bigger, because you have to learn how to trade. And I would always want somebody to learn how to trade on a smaller account, to get a big account and learn how to trade and have to deal with those big drawdowns. And drawdowns are where money's coming out of your account while they're trying to learn how to trade.
I think I would recommend people, and this is from perspective of, for years, I've had stockpile accounts. E-Trade fractional share accounts, right? So StockPal, you know, I put $25 in Tesla. I'm gonna keep on throwing $25 when I can into Tesla to get what I want. Now, for some people, they're like, I don't know if I can risk this $25, and I'm like, then you need to just sit tight, right? So the definition of small account or small stock strategies, do you have $500 or do you have a couple hundred that you can put away for a couple weeks until you do have that money, right? I'm talking to somebody now, and they were saying, oh man, I don't have 20K to put in the stock market. And I was like, 20K? Who told you that? But they've been listening to various YouTube videos. And I was like, I know a person I could recommend you to, right? And so I think a lot of times people think, well, I don't have the money, so that's not even my game.
Yeah, I mean, I would encourage them not to think like that. Something you talked about before is that just take a few $100s. Really, the market is about consistency,
right? And
staying power. How long can you stay in it? And you will get a better understanding, because what I want people to know, and I'm gonna kind of talk about this later this week, is if you stay in this market long enough, and that's in any market, real estate, business, whatever, once you learn it, you're gonna have times in the market where you can accelerate your income really rapidly in a short amount of time. And so that's what I want people to realize, is that if you just hang around and you learn the skills, you're gonna have scenarios like with Trump coming in, where you can accelerate your income in a short amount of time because of your understanding of the market. But if you're out of the market, you're always playing catch-up ball.
Oh, for sure.
And so that's what I want people to realize. The idea that we should never be involved in these markets, we miss every opportunity. And once it starts going and everybody tries to file in, but you realize the people that really made the money was the people that just stuck around. And I don't think people realize that sometimes you need to be in it when things are slow and not necessarily going the way you want it to go. So when things start to pick up, you're already positioned for the pickup.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm getting ready to trade Tesla this year a lot.
Okay.
I can do that because I've been trading Tesla for years.
Right.
So when everybody wasn't on Tesla, I was trading it.
Right.
Right. So that's what I want people to realize. So now I understand how Elon Musk does. I know what he's doing. I understand the business that they're involved in. I understand the community around it. So the goal is to try to trade Tesla minimum at least 6 months this year, because I think there's going to be a lot of volatility that I can benefit from it. But it's because I've stuck around this long, because I told people, and I don't know if you remember this, Tesla had a really, really big run up right after the pandemic.
Yeah.
I said, if I knew what I knew now about Tesla then when it took place, I could have made a lot more money. I didn't know it.
Okay. Right.
So that's what I want people to realize, is that my lack of understanding of that particular ticker at that time. I know people was making like $200,000-$300,000 off that ticker because they had traded it long enough to understand what was going on. I was so scared of the volatility, I didn't know what to do, because I just hadn't traded it long enough. And that's what I want people to realize.
You know, and speaking to being in something long enough, I remember I bought a property and they're like, you're going to be in this 10 years. I was like, 10 years?
Yeah.
And they were right. Still in that damn thing. But it's a consistency factor, because the longer you're in something, now the bank like, this person isn't selling.
Exactly.
We'll give you a loan on this. Okay, you need a roof, you need to do that. And also they saw so many people fly by night.
Yeah, exactly.
So banking were like, okay, you'll have been in 2 years, come back and talk to me in 2 more years.
Yeah.
You know, show me some statements, show me where your tenants are still living, show me where you're paying your taxes. And a lot of people get upset because they're like, Erica, I'm just trying to get in here and flip this money. And I'm like, what you think is about to happen is not about to happen. Okay. Exactly. You're about to sit in it for a minute. There's so many people who have beautiful concept YouTube channels and then they quit.
Yeah.
And I think I listened to your video, I don't know, a couple days ago or something. You said something about quitting YouTube. But I was like, the power is in the longevity, right? You have these channels that like hit, and you can start multiple new channels, but the power is, oh, this person's been on here for a couple of years, so I automatically give them a rabbit of trust. There's a level of trust that we give people that been on YouTube a long time. I mean, Mr. Beast and all these people make a lot of money just because people like, where they going? There's content for years, and they're not a fly by night. And a lot of people don't realize that when they just start these brand new channels, people are like, I don't know, I'm gonna watch this person for a while before I spend some money with them. So I just always tell people, you're gonna have to put some time into it.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing real quick before you move on, when you start talking about like the real estate market in certain cities, I hear the experience and the knowledge. It's like the communication around it and the expertise that you're able to deliver is from those years of experience around that particular area. It wasn't because you started doing it last year.
Yeah.
So your ability to go into a particular market and talk about, hey, real estate investing in Detroit, real estate investing in these particular markets, and the way in which you have the ability to communicate it, it allows me to understand it faster because of your experience in the space. And so that's what I want people to understand, is that your ability to stick around for so long in these particular areas is why you're able to go into these particular areas and understand the opportunity, is because you've been around so long and you've seen things come and go.
Yeah. And you see who's a real player, who's a real flipper, who's a real developer, who's a real whatever, right? Because they'll keep on they'll keep building while everybody else is standing still.
Exactly.
And there's a couple people I've paid attention to and like, oh, they still building right now. They're still building duplexes. They still building houses. They've built a business where one man I know, he's in Houston. People from California and New York fly into him.
Okay.
And they cutting the checks to him. And so he's still building while other people who are in Houston are like, woo, twiddle my thumbs. Let me sit down for a minute, right? Yeah. And so these social media, when I tell people about these smartphones and y'all think I'm joking, a lot of times you're seeing people's highlight reel. But one of the best things is somebody can fly in and eat dinner with you and see you real. Man, they'll cut you a check, unlimited check.
I feel you.
I have a student who built a whole house in south of here and just sent us the pictures. I said, from a dinner we had. I was like, do this. And I thought, okay, this guy 28. Let's see if he'll do it. He done did it.
Yeah.
4 months later, and sent me all the pictures and the listing. And so it's y'all decision. It's y'all discretion to do what you want. But I have things I'm gonna film and show next year, and like let a few people come, come in so I can film them and be like, maybe Brandy or some people I know, and let them see some of the stuff, the projects I'm working on.
Okay, good deal.
Because it takes time. It takes time. All right. So this is one of the questions. One of the hot questions was, why is Nvidia so important?
Okay, Nvidia is so important because people believe that they're selling something that's going to be really, really important to this AI thing, right? So it's something called it's a certain type of AI. It's very, very specific. I know Dr. Dix knows the name off the top of his head, but people believe that Nvidia is kind of positioned in business where everybody's going to have to get this particular type of chip from them for what we're trying to do in this particular AI space. I just sent somebody a link earlier today about a nuclear company that's really owned by a big power company using Nvidia chips in what they're doing. So that's why people think they're so important. And it surprised me because I just knew Nvidia as a gaming company. Right. That's what I knew. So when they ran up, I was really surprised. I was like, I can't believe it. But they're selling something that everybody else believes is going to be really important to this whole AI revolution. So the goal is to continue to do business with Nvidia because they're positioned in a business a certain way. So that's why people believe that they're so important.
Yeah, I saw an article that 76% of his employees are millionaires now. And I was like,
I believe
I could have worked for 50 grand software sales, I'd have been there. Yeah, I'd have been answering the phones every day. But you don't know what you don't know, right? So Nvidia, some people say like Nvidia is bigger than the market. It's more important than SPY. And why would people say that?
I mean, they can't say that because the way they've weighted Nvidia now in the SPY index, it has what we call the highest weight, which means that when you're buying the SPY, every corporation in it doesn't have the same percentage, right? So they kind of weighted Nvidia to be the leader. So kind of what we're saying is that as Nvidia goes, the overall index goes. Okay. It used to be that way with Apple, but I believe now it's Nvidia. I wouldn't say it's more important than the SPY. What I would say is pretty much over the past year, we've had a small group of companies that have primarily been tech, pretty much driving our whole market.
Like the top 7 or something?
The top 7, like that Magnificent 7. They pretty much been driving the whole market. But we saw the same thing happen during the pandemic where tech pretty much led the way. Okay. And it's getting people to really realize is that investors and pretty much the overall market believes that no matter what happens in the world, tech is still going to be all right. Okay. And I want people to really kind of understand that there's so much confidence and faith in that tech space and what they're going to be able to do for the future. It's almost if it doesn't matter what happens around us, people are still going to look to put money in tech. For sure. Yeah. I think people have watched it change their cities. Like Austin, Nashville, Chattanooga. They're like, what is going on? Like, I don't know all the details, but I know they're doing something. That guy actually lives here in Austin. Palantir. How do you say that? Palantir.
Palantir.
Yes, ma'am.
He lives here in Austin. He a little weird, but that's what he in the right city for it.
Okay, I feel you. Okay.
He blends right into the people in the background. On the video, there was another question somebody had. Oh, the SPY. They're like, why do they always hear about the SPY? Why is the SPY important?
Well, the SPY pretty much is just a representation of the overall market.
Okay.
So we
Overall
just want to
market.
kind of understand. I did a SPY trade earlier today, kind of off what Jerome Powell talked about. We just want to look at like where direction we think the overall market is going. It's pretty much going to be the SPY, but at the same time, we understand that pretty much the SPY is being driven by those top 7 companies.
Okay.
Right. So what we look for, and what often I look for, is like, what is the overall direction of the market, and then how is it going to impact the individual company that I'm trading? Because sometimes I'm looking for correlation to where if the SPY is green or going up, is the individual company that I'm trading also green or going up, or is it going counter to the SPY?
Okay.
But a lot of times what you see is that if you're looking at a company like Nvidia that's really weighted deep in the SPY, also in the Qs, if that's green, normally the overall market's going to be green and vice versa.
Okay.
Right. But the SPY is just so important because it's just really much the direction of the overall market and how people feel about our overall market.
Okay. So question. So, you see, they're like, Erica, by the time Donald Trump raises his hand on the 20th of January, they're going to say we're in a recession. They're going to blame it on them.
Yeah.
But we've watched the last couple of years where the main, well, you know how they like to do talking points. The main street is suffering and Wall Street's throwing a party.
Yeah.
Is that something we might see again?
Yeah, I mean, because there is a separation between the overall economy and the stock market. So what we often see is that the stock market leads everything. So what we can sometimes historically see that if we're getting ready to go into a recession or depression, the market will sell off first, and then the overall economy will often follow it. We saw this during the pandemic. But what we also see is that when we get ready to come out of it, the market will lead the way, and the overall economy will still be stuck there.
Okay.
So this is why I tell people it's so important to be in the market, is because once we have the sell-off, the market will always come out first before the overall economy does.
Right.
Because money will always flow back into the market. So that's often the time where you get the big gains. We saw this after the pandemic, because once we had the big sell-off, the market went up like a rocket ship, but a lot of other people were still waiting for their stimulus check. So that's what I want people to realize, is that's why I always encourage people to get into the market. So, but I do agree with you. What I think they're going to do, and this is not a political statement, as a trader, this is what I'm looking at. I think once Trump gets elected, the data that's going to be coming out around CPI, PCE, inflation is going to be negative.
Yeah.
Because I think now we're going to start getting the real data.
Oh, yeah. They're mad.
Exactly. So, and I think that's what we want to ask ourselves as traders, how we think that's going to impact the market. But I think a lot of the rosy data that we've gotten around people over the past 3 to 4 years, I don't think it's going to be as rosy once he gets in.
Well, I think that's what got him in, is people like, what are you talking about?
Exactly.
It's terrible. Because it was a K-shaped failure. Because I have friends who are in tech now who, I mean, they don't even post their ski trips. They don't post their flying trips. They can feel it. They make good money, but they can feel the room is like, we struggling out here to buy eggs, And so even at Afrotech right now, I'm not there right now, but I'm seeing like all these Black people who are doing well financially. They're not telling their family and friends that. They're just like, oh, I got this tech job. I'm working hard. But it's very much people feel it in the air.
Yeah.
So I think even this week where we have kind of the delayed reaction of like Bitcoin, stock market, Erica, what do you? I'm like, we're in a financial November. That's why I brought on Diamond Dave.
Yeah.
He's the perfect person to ask your questions to. Because what's happening is it's getting attention. It's sexy again. Right. And I think you said in your video earlier about people just not staying in it long enough. Right. I don't know if you remember in like 2021, all the airlines and the tourism stocks like bounced back.
Exactly.
Because everybody's like, oh my God, the COVID, oh God, you can't travel, you can't fly. And then all of a sudden it bounced back. So it's like people gonna find money to travel. People gonna find money to fly. You just gotta stick with it.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, what is the SPY? Is it S&PX 500?
Yeah, we just call it the SPY 500.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're doing the SPX. I don't really trade SPX, but the contracts are really expensive. Well, I just call it the ETF, the SPY ETF 500.
Okay, so she said SPY State Street version. VOO is Vanguard
version. Exactly.
Fancy.
The SPY has the volume I'm looking for.
Okay, VOO does not.
Yeah, VOO does not.
What about the VIX? I know I hear people always asking about some VIX.
That was one of the VIX is what we call. Some people call it the fear index.
Okay,
it's really kind of used to kind of determine like anxiety in the market. What I would encourage people, I can't give an investment advice, but what I would ask people to look for is that when they see the VIX spike, always look for it to go back down. So we saw during the pandemic, the VIX go really, really high. And then what we saw it do is go right back down. and it's because of the resilience of our market.
Okay.
The market really wants to be optimistic about the future. Okay. So what it does, it gets over anxiety or uncertainty very fast.
Okay.
And again, the market gets over anxiety and uncertainty faster than the overall economy.
Okay.
Because the people in the market, they're just focused on making money. Mm-hmm. Like when you get into this market, you realize how quickly people get over stuff. Because we are been trained to make money off events.
Okay.
And we've been trained to make money without asking anybody's permission. Where in other spaces, the way they make money, somebody else has to facilitate their money making. So we get over things faster because, okay, this and this happened. So like, let me give an example. We think that RFK is going to be negative to Moderna. So if I'm investing in Moderna, then what I just got to do is I just got to run puts.
Okay. And puts are the sale, selling off. We're selling off.
Right? So even if I want to be in Moderna long term, right now what I do is I just buy puts, make money off puts. And then if it doesn't go as bad as I thought it went, then I can still ride it back up.
Okay.
As opposed to running around like my hair's on fire, I try to figure out how do I take this particular event and how do I monetize this event?
Okay. Yes, so we're buying a call and we're selling a put.
What I'm doing is I'm already on the stock.
Okay. You're already on
so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna buy puts as it goes down because I think people believe that because of its stance on vaccines, it's gonna be very negative to vaccine sellers.
Oh, for sure.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, they had a report come out, CDC saying, oh, you know, basically white and Asian people their children's rates are going down. Yeah. And, you know, blacks are kind of going up. And the doctors were saying, yeah, they're not coming in. They're not taking them. They're using exemptions at the highest rate. So either way, like they're going to do a personal choice. If you come here to Austin, if you ever get a chance and see all these Montessori schools, they done popped up out of nowhere. I said, these people going to figure out a way around something and keep it moving.
Yeah.
Somebody said the VU is for holding, the SPY is for trading.
I mean, I can understand that.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah, it's hard to trade the VU. It's no volume.
So it's boring over there. It is.
Spider
webs over there.
It's Vanguard. And Vanguard just buy and hold.
Okay. So somebody asked, what are the major stock market exchanges? That was one of the questions I meant to ask earlier. I apologize.
Okay, so what I look at is probably the NASDAQ, which is probably going to be the tech stocks, and then we call it the New York Stock Exchange, which is pretty much going to be the SPY. Also, some people consider that to also be the Dow. So the stock exchanges are really not as important as what the indexes are, or what maybe your individual stocks are, because as an American, you got access to all of them.
Okay, cool. So when I hop on now, this is the one. This caused a lot of hush in the marketplace a couple years ago. What's your opinion on the blessed platform to use? Because you know everybody black was hopping on Robinhood, and they were like, "No, Robinhood's terrible. It's not. It don't have what you need." And it was a lot of hush. So, name off a couple. No endorsement here, but what are some of the ones you would recommend for people to sign on and possibly work with?
Okay, so I'm not against Robinhood. I like the fact that Robinhood brought a lot of people in. Like they brought a lot of people into the space.
Okay.
I never traded them personally myself, but it did bring a lot of people to the space, especially with their mobile app. It was like their mobile app pretty much changed the game.
For sure.
I like Thinkorswim because I like their support and I like a lot of their tools. Some people like Fidelity. Some people like E-Trade. There's so many.
I've been E-Trade for so long.
Okay, some people like E-Trade.
I don't like them, but I just been with them since college.
Yeah. So it kind of depends on. I also use Ali Bank.
Oh, yeah.
But their platform is very basic. It's not sophisticated at all. So it kind of depends on the level of sophistication you want and what you're trying to do with it. Then you have kind of like Tasty Trade, some of the like boutique type platforms that are very, very sophisticated because they're like for people that are really serious about trading. So it kind of depends on what you want to do and kind of how you want to move. So there's a long list of platforms that you can use to trade.
Right.
What I would look for is who's going to charge me the lowest amount of commission.
For sure.
And then who has the best customer support? Because one thing I didn't like about Robinhood is I just didn't feel like they had good support.
No, they ain't got none.
Yeah.
I got hacked, and then they eventually were like, this account will be forever. You could never open another account. I'm like, I didn't do anything. It won't be. I've had E-Trade forever. It's super sophisticated, and they've kind of tried to do some new updates. My Fidelity is really tied to my HSA.
Okay.
And so they'd be like, hey, you're gonna invest. You don't just gotta sit. I'm like, I don't like y'all like that.
I feel you.
I just want y'all to have my healthcare, my card ready. Okay. And Thinkorswim is with who?
That's now Charles Schwab, I believe. I think they got bought up by Charles. It used to be TD Ameritrade, but I think they got bought up by Charles Schwab.
Ameritrade.
Yeah.
The swabbing. Okay. My other questions were I like the Power Five. That was really good.
Yeah.
Would you recommend the Power Five all be like the same category? Like if I'm in utilities or if I'm in bank stocks or I'm in something, I should just stay in that same kind of area?
If that works for your trading style and it works for your ability to understand the market. What I tell people all the time is I wouldn't try to trade something that I would not be interested in reading and studying.
Okay.
So that's why I
Right.
tell sometimes people think they want to trade Tesla, but they
Right.
really don't like the industry that Tesla operates in, which is going to be
Mm-hmm.
solar, energy storage, cars. They don't
Mm-hmm.
like cars like that. Tesla makes like 80% of its revenue off of automobiles or vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
They really don't like that space. They're just attracted to the ticker.
Okay.
The way in which I teach people how to trade is going to be very much based on fundamental analysis, where you really learn the company and you learn the industry. It's not just looking at a chart. So I would always tell people, if you don't really want to learn that company and what they do and how they make money and how they actually what business they're actually involved in,
Mm-hmm.
it may be difficult for you to trade it long term, because I'm going to keep asking you, what do you know about this company?
Right. And I kind of like on Yahoo where they'll have a little bit of news on the left hand
Exactly.
side, and you kind of act like you know something. Like, well, the
Yeah,
investor just said,
I
or
feel you.
they just hired 1,000 people. you know. Okay, so this is one of the questions: is Webull a solid trading platform?
Yeah, I know some people that use Webull. In fact, inside my course, I teach people to use Webull mobile to get alerts. Right. So I know some people that do use Webull as a trading platform. So, Mr. Bolton, every platform is solid.
Okay, got you.
It's just kind of depending on what type of user interface you like, what type of customer support you want, and really, again, how much are they making you pay to do trades? That's the biggest thing. The reason why I moved I was essentially on TD Ameritrade, and I moved to Alley is because the commissions was lower. So just really, if they're charging you a lot of money to do trades, that can hurt your trading, because if I'm trading with a smaller account, but I got to pay more to do it, they're taking money just for me to execute the trade. That's hurting my trades.
Right.
Yeah.
I would say I signed up for Webull. I sent like $500 over there, but I was like, why does it look like a Chinese gaming place? I don't know about this one. I had to tell your girl, I was like, Chassie, this look like something else. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm about to go back to E-Trade. It's where it's professional. It's for adults.
Yeah. I mean, some people swear by Webull, because I kind of think where people get what they get used to and where they have their success is kind of where they want to stay. Yeah.
Well, and then E-Trade act like they didn't want to let me do options. So I was like, well, let me see if Webull will let me. And Webull was like, yeah, sure. You want to do it? When you want to do it? Tomorrow? Yep. I was like, I don't know. That's kind of fast. You have some questions in here, so I'm just going to go through here. Do you teach a foundation in the trade, like what to read to look for a good stop?
Yeah, definitely. So is it Weiss, Estangel? That's a great question. So I'm primarily what we call a fundamental trader.
Oh, okay.
And what I do is I really base what I trade based on the actual business that I'm involved in. I look at a lot of macroeconomics. I look at a lot of microeconomics, and not necessarily a good stock, but a stock that we think that we can trade. So like right now, I don't think Moderna is a good stock, but I think there's money to be made on the downside. I think their business case is pretty much going to be over with, because I think, and I've told people that when I think this year they're going to come out and tell people boosters are no longer like even recommended. I think once they do that, it's over for them. So it's not necessarily a good stock. Is that, do I think there's a trading opportunity there? Right. I don't necessarily believe as a trader in good or bad stocks. I believe in trading opportunity. Long-term investing is something totally different. But as a trader, I don't care about whether or not I believe in the stock, good or bad. I look for the trading opportunity.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I got a good one here. I'm gonna read this and then I'm gonna frame it and then I'll let you know. Okay, so the IPO market for this year continued to show positive signs in Q3, with 37 IPOs raising $8 billion, according to the research publication Renaissance Capital. During quarter three, several high-profile firms announced they were going to and reported that they were going to plan for 2025 IPOs. And here's some of the ones that did. And then I'd like to ask you a question about IPOs.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's Cerberus. Y'all give me a break. CEREBRAS. It's a chip maker and AI platform. They filed an S1 registration statement at the end of September. It's a manufacturer for chips, AI chips. Then you also have Chime. Oh, I realize I'm not sharing my screen. I apologize. Hold on. You can't even look at what I'm reading to you. My bad. I'm sitting here like, help me read this. Okay, hold on. My bad. All right, can y'all see that? Oh, wait, my bad. Take the comments off. About to put my old lady glasses back on. Okay. All right. So this is the one I was saying. This top one over here is Cebrus. It's a manufacturer. Okay. So they've got a lot of good information here. You guys can read up. It was founded in 2016 in Sunnyvale, California. Okay. But they basically said around $40, November 5th, giving a valuation of $7.76 billion. Okay. Then they said Chime is also thinking about it. Okay, Klarna, a payment fintech, buy their pay later 2025. They're thinking it's going to come out around $370. That's a lot. And then MNTN, an advertising technological firm. Okay, it's out of Austin, Texas. And you know, Ryan Reynolds has worked himself as one of the chief officers because he bought into it. Okay, including BlackRock, SB Angel, and Qualcomm Ventures. Okay, so you know Ryan Reynolds, when he puts his money in something, it's about to blow. Hinge Health, a healthcare startup. It's out of San Francisco. They have 1 million members to date. They're essentially a combination of physical therapy remotely through sensors and mobile devices. So it basically, the participants report less pain and less desire to pursue surgery after doing virtual therapy sessions. Okay, so some of these are ones that are going to be launching as IPOs coming up this year, or they registered for it. And one of the best questions we had out of the email list was, should I invest in an IPO?
Okay, so let me give you my personal opinion around IPOs. And I don't give investment advice, but this is my personal opinion. And also relates to the IPO lockout course that we're selling that you get a 40% discount on. And we talked about Ryan Reynolds. Okay, so we can kind of involve him into the explanation. So I'm gonna just tell the audience this straight out. When companies go IPO, it's so they can cash out. Right. So the goal of an IPO is so the original investors that came in every series round can now get out of the deal. Right. So you got to understand the reason why they're IPOing. Right. So they're not going into the public markets. So let me roll back. The original reason why companies went into the public markets initially was to raise money. Right. And for people to buy their stock because it paid a dividend. Right. So we want to go public because it allows us to raise a lot of capital. And people initially always wanted to buy our stock because it paid a dividend. So they got paid to own it. Things have changed now over time. But when a company IPOs, their IPOing is because the original investors that came in every round are now looking to cash out of the deal. Normally when a company starts up and they know they want to IPO, they normally want to try to IPO within 10 years of the origination of the company, because every investor that came in the series round, they want to get out of the deal and they don't want their money in that deal indefinitely. So they're now looking to get out. So normally, if we're talking about taking a company public, we normally want to take that company public within 10 years.
Right? Yeah, I'm seeing some of these are founded in 2016, 2013, Klarna 2005.
Yeah, so that's but they had a weak market in 2022. That's probably why they couldn't go public, because a lot of companies were trying to go public in that time period, but they just couldn't because of the economy. So what I would encourage people to do is ask yourself this: if you're getting ready to invest in an IPO, when a company's private, they don't have to release their financials to you.
Right.
So we really don't know what's really going on. If they're a legitimate company, why would I need to get in now? Why can't I wait a year to get in? Because if they're going to be around and they're going to stand the test of time, it won't hurt me to wait a year and let some financials come out and then get in then. Because I wasn't allowed to get when they were private and exit in the public. Right?
Y'all didn't want to call me then.
Exactly. So now they go public. Now they're looking to get, so what they do is investment banks, they partner with investment banks. Investment banks buy the stock, and now they're getting ready to give the public access to that stock. So now they're getting ready to change places. But what I tell people, and this is in the IPO lockup course, the way in which they IPO, there's a time in which the people that own the stock can get out.
Yeah.
And that's when we want to look to trade the stock.
After they get out.
When they get ready to get out. Because they don't want it to be a pump and dump, they normally have to wait a certain amount of time to get out. So what we figured out how to do is create what we call an edge of the market, which is a way in which you have a high probability of making money by understanding that process and then understanding, well, based on their financials and what they've explained, this is when we think the insiders are getting ready to get out of this deal. That's when we look to trade it.
Right.
But we're not looking to buy it. We're just looking to trade it.
Okay. Right.
Yes,
Right.
ma'am.
Well, part of the reason I just, anytime a company tells me they're in Austin, Texas,
okay,
regardless of where they start, I hear them quick and look. So that MNTN, they basically they help you. Basically, you want to advertise on TV, you can use AI powered ad tech. Okay. So you ain't got to talk to sales reps, you ain't got to do all that stuff. You can cut through the BS. Business to consumer connected TV advertising. Now, my issue with the TV advertising is TV is falling off.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what does this do for me? Is this for small towns? Is this, can I do this online? Like, I'm looking at their website right now. They off Congress in Austin. I already know they downtown. But yeah, I'm looking at it right now. As soon as I just said, interesting.
Yeah, because we saw I think over the past year, Reddit IPO. Reddit been around forever.
Reddit been around. I was saying, like, I didn't even know they IPO.
Yeah, so we know that's just a cash out because they've been around forever.
They need some money.
They just wanted the money. I mean, it was an opportunity for them to cash out, to get the public to buy into whatever they were doing, and so they took it. I'm not mad at them.
For sure.
Yeah.
And again, I'm looking at their website, so I'm gonna show it to y'all. I hate just telling y'all something. Somebody said the IPO report is very good. Somebody said yes to Chime. Several folks are unbanked. I'm talking about half of America unbanked, underbanked.
Yeah,
so yeah,
you're right about that.
It says, if I buy your course, does is coaching call included? If yes, how much time can we contact you if we have any questions?
So that's a great question. So currently right now, and I'm glad you asked that, because if you buy the core course, you get 1 hour one-on-one consulting. You buy the VIP, you get 2 hours of one-on-one consult, but the VIP also adds the mastermind coaching with it. That's a big value add. Then every other Monday during the month, which is twice a month, we do a live talk in which you can submit questions. I sit on there, I answer questions. We talk about what's going on in the markets, yada, yada, yada. You still got the Discord. So there's a lot of opportunity for you to communicate, get your questions asked. You just have to be committed to working through the process. Right? That's all you got to do, is you got to stick around, be committed to working through the process, but you will have the ability to contact me, but also talk to other traders. Because one thing I learned, and I talked about this earlier today, is that the questions that you have when you first come into the market are going to be totally different than the questions that you're going to have a year later. So the goal is to continue to develop you. So it's not we sell you a course and just walk away, unless it's the IPO course, which is for more seasoned traders. It's to really try to help build you up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna show y'all this because as the way I'm looking at it, and that's a really good question. I did link the article. Article is in here, you guys. I'm gonna say, first of all, when I just looked at these real quick for the IPO, I'm gonna tell you right now, this right here, this telehealth.
Okay.
If I'm an insurance company, I'm not paying to send you to the therapist after your car wreck. That was just a bumper to bumper. I'm gonna send you on this Hinge Health and say you got a dedicated coach that's gonna watch you on the phone.
Yeah.
And here you go, get out of my face. I just find it's a cost saving method, in my opinion. That's just my opinion when I look at this. That's just because they already at the bottom. As soon as you go to the bottom, it's like, hey, for employers, for health plans, for EcoSpirit, like that's talking to the companies. Like, yeah, go ahead and sign your person up.
Exactly.
So you can mark off that they came and got their physical therapy.
Exactly. And what I would be asking if I was looking to invest in that is, do they have a dedicated sales team that can sell that partnership to insurers? Because we know that's where the revenue is going to come in from, is from that partnership with insurers. So because we know that a lot of businesses, especially in the medical space, they make their money just because they got a partnership with insurance companies.
Facts.
So they don't even do any marketing. They just have the insurance company just bring everybody to them.
That's their leg work.
Exactly. So I would be asking them, what type of mechanism do y'all have inside your business to, one, build a relationship, but to keep those relationships going, so then it makes your business easy because you're already attached to it. Just like, you got that chiropractor that works with that lawyer, that's personal injury.
Oh,
everybody
yeah.
Gets just sends them to the straight chiropractor. So the guy just sits back and makes money. Yeah.
You got to have the relationship. Okay.
Exactly.
Let me show you this one. Let me start that one. because I think a lot of people are using Ryan Reynolds for everything. His face is the face of, oh, he's so smart. He made investments. I'm like, that's what they should be doing with their actor money, not waking up like Al Pacino lost $70 million talking about he didn't know what happened. Okay, that's all you need to focus on is your money if you ain't acting.
Yeah, I still see his commercial for the phones.
There you go.
Yeah.
The hardest working software in television. Okay. So, you know, of course, I got to put Ryan up there.
Yeah.
And they're showing you all this Lululemon, all these people, World Market, Feeding America, they're using it. They talk about they made $10 billion. They had over 281 million website views generated, and they reached 120 million households. So they're just letting you know, maximize your return on your investments. Okay. Now, when I'm watching Hulu and y'all keep showing them ads, I'm hot. I want that ad to get out of my face. Okay. But I'm not paying for that Hulu like that. So I know, I know where your TV ad gonna run. It's gonna run off some spaces, right? Run your TV campaigns with digital speed and precision. Campaigns are auto optimized more than 651 times a day. Yeah. No contracts or commitments. Easy to get your ads on or off air. That's where they go. That's where they make their money right there. Because, you call the local cable people, they talk about you want 800 ads for this month. You got to sign up for 2 months. Okay. Yeah. And the reason I think this is still important, even though y'all may not think about it, one of the number one ways that Ryan Pieta made all his money, he went to a conference in Las Vegas and he said, look, man, you put on a TV ad, you'll be rich forever. Okay. So and guess when he started his TV ad? March 2020. Yeah. So everybody else pulled off TV, and here he was on TV everywhere. Yeah. Okay. So you don't think TV works, but my mom is 65, and all her sisters, they watch a lot of TV. They be like, did you see this thing on Trump? I said, I did not, and I ain't watching it. Right. So they're watching a lot of TV. So if I was a company that was in healthcare, I was a company trying to, market something to older people, I definitely would do this. So that's my 2 cents on that. When I look at something, I always want to say, what's this about? You know what I mean? Yeah. And they got white papers and all kind of stuff, but y'all can look at this on your own time. Thank you for your commentary on that. No problem. I know people ask about IPOs, and you gotta. Somebody said the price today will not be tomorrow's price. Okay. Showing ads at 3 a.m. Listen, I'll take them ads whenever they want to show them, man. I remember watching this fish restaurant ad 4 times in the middle of the night. I said, I got to go see what they about. Yeah, that's often the best time to run them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the best time to run them sometimes, especially if they direct response. Somebody said, when I first started, the FOMC meetings are boring. Now let me watch the FOMC and make these money trades. Okay. I like Jerome Powell because he be having an attitude. So I can watch him. Because that's why I say I think he black. I think he just when he retired, he gonna be like, gotcha, Black American, walk out the door, right? I don't know if you guys know Malcolm Gladwell, the Outliers book guy. Yeah. With the crazy fur. Everybody thought he was Jewish. He's like, oh, actually, no, I'm actually African American. Yeah. And it's just like, I was adopted. You know what I mean? Just came out of nowhere. But Jerome Powell gets sassy, and you're like, how can this man be sassy? Because his job ain't like your job. You know what I'm saying? Like, he can come in there and have attitude. Yeah. Will you quit if Trump asks you to? Man, if you don't get up out of here with that S. That's what he wanted to say. I didn't watch the thing he did today, but I know he was speaking in Dallas today. Yeah, I just like it when the glasses be over his face like this. Like, I wonder. Yeah, I said this thing. I said, "It's all that money he has. They won't get that guy some progressive lenses." Listen, it's like somebody daddy. Like, let me tell you something. I'm gonna read this and put my glasses back on. I love that. That's why I can watch it, because I'll be like, "That's somebody daddy." Yeah. So Davide, we hit over a lot of good topics. Thank y'all for your comments. If you have any more questions in the chat, please throw them in there. I don't want y'all to sit back and watch this, and then when the video go off, y'all out here putting all these comments in and stuff that we can't do nothing about, because you already done put them in there afterwards. Okay. Buy and hold and get rich the old money way. Team Vu. Somebody said, I love how y'all was in here going, Robin Hood was robbing people. Listen, if you watch Dumb Money, baby, I was crying in the movie theater. I know my man thought I was crazy. I said, first of all, it's hormones. 2, I felt bad because I wanted people to sell, like the mom with the kids. I'm like, girl, sell. Yeah, that was crazy. Sell anything, like just a piece of it.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking about all of it, just a piece of it. But that movie right there, that made me really hate Robinhood. Robinhood spreads are criminal. I don't know. I'm just saying.
But we talk about Robinhood. One of the reasons why I believe they did what they did is because they were going to IPO and they didn't want the people they were IPOing to be on the bad side of that trade. So it kind of goes into the IPO part. They were getting ready to go public, so they needed to make sure that they had good relationships with those investment banks, and they didn't want to be part of trying to hurt those banks because they had all those people on the other side of that GameStop trade that could have hurt the investment banks. So there's a lot into it because you can't. It's difficult to IPO without really good relationships with banks. Yeah.
I would say that movie showed me like somebody made a remark said like citizens are the media now.
Okay.
And that was the one true moment, before they went pro intelligence on them and got in their little Discord groups, where they were actually like, we the people decided we're gonna dom this state.
Exactly.
You can't do anything about it. Now that Hello Kitty guy, I don't know what they're doing with him right now, but he know to sit down. He know to be quiet. I'm going to get an options trading for sure. Well, here's my thing, Diamond Dave. You talked about it as 2-3 hours a day or a certain time frame of trading. How did you develop it where you could just kind of get in and get out and go about your day?
It's just really, really spending enough time in the market and kind of understanding, because I'm a fundamental trader. What events do I think will move the market?
Okay.
And then also understanding the attitude around the market. Like, what do I believe the attitude of the market is? Do I think there's a lot of anxiety in the market? Do I think there's a lot of euphoria? Do I think people have a very negative view? So let me give an example. We were watching Jerome Powell talk today. He came on late around 3:00. And what they tried to get him to do was give his opinion on whether or not immigration and lack of labor supply would be detrimental to production. Because I know that the market wanted him to say something good or bad, they could trade off of it.
Okay.
So it's just me understanding what people are looking for and looking at these specific companies and understanding like how these particular companies trade. And it allows me just to come in, make a trade and walk out.
Right.
And come in, make a trade and walk out. And also understand that some days are just not going to be good trading days for me. And I need to go do something else.
Right.
But it's really just me hanging around long enough to kind of understand what the tone of the market is. And, somebody that does real estate can understand the same thing. They can tell when the market is hot and the market is cold.
Yeah.
And they know the players in the market. They can kind of tell just sometimes by driving around the area that there's money in this market now and there's not money in the market. And I can kind of do the same thing. When I wake up in the morning, I know what's going on. I know what the attitude around the market is. And I kind of have an idea of how it's going to go. And then I just kind of trade it kind of based on that and see whether or not it matches up.
I love it. I love it. One of the things I tell y'all about real estate, I talk about people driving around and I know people get irritated, but studies show we drive around the same 8 miles every day.
Yeah.
Same, we don't go too far past a certain grocery store. Like I remember a friend of mine, we were driving down the road and they were like, oh, there's so many HEBs. I said, because the person won't drive, but so far from their house.
Yeah.
So they have to make things within an 8 mile radius. And so the other week we were in Austin downtown, dropping this girl off at this brand new construction. And it was a whole area of new construction I had never even heard of. She's like, oh yeah, we cleared all these trees out and they just started building. I said, would have never known it was a juicy market over there. And that's just lack of exposure is something I want to tell y'all.
Yeah.
So there's some questions that came in. So if you can spare me a few more minutes, I appreciate it.
I got you.
For sure. So some people come in, they wait and they're like, okay, I got a question. 2 minutes before y'all get off. I got it. All right. Drip Dip Coatings. I guess he coats cars. Listen, okay. I need to get one of mine done. Do you guys think the election results are still tradable coming into the end of this quarter, or maybe some leaps in February and March? So
drip. I think, me personally, and we'll find out next week. I think a lot of the euphoria around the election has kind of subsided.
Okay.
Right. So we saw a really, really strong move, but I still think we're going to get a Santa Claus rally. Right now, if you're going to look at leaps, February, March to me may be a little late. Okay. I will be looking at leaps. If I'm bullish, I'll be looking at leaps this quarter.
Okay.
Because if I'm bullish, I want to buy leaps when the market is down. I don't want to buy leaps when the market is up. So if I believe that the market is going to continue to go up, I want to buy leaps when the market is down because I can get the leaps at the cheapest price.
Right.
That's me personally. Everybody's going to be different. But I do believe we're still going to have a Santa Claus rally. And then I do believe that once Trump is in, they're going to kind of reset the market and then figure out how things are going to go based on what policies he's actually going to push out. Like to what extent will he try to push out tariffs? So what is a time frame to try to deport some of these people?
Well, you know, they got that list. It's like 1.8 million are already criminals or already been convicted. They sitting in jail right now.
Okay.
So those people was already scheduled. So I was like, y'all, he already moving the goalposts. See, I'm gonna get these other people out. Well, they in jail. So when they get out of jail, you got to fly them home anyway. So
yeah, but that's still it's still a net positive because I don't want them people in our jails. We paying for them. They ain't supposed to be over here anyway.
But you know they got to do some of the time. They make do some of the time.
Yeah, so I still appreciate that, and let's find out because this is what I was going to talk about. But we'll go ahead and get into it for people that's kind of want to understand. A large amount of agriculture workers in California are undocumented. So if we start going after those people, how will it impact the growers? So these are some of the things I want people to look about as far as how you can take some of these events and trade off of them. If we really go after these folks, so yeah, I'm cool with the people that's incarcerated because I don't want to pay for them people. They're not supposed to be over here, so I don't want to pay for them to be locked up anyway. So send them back.
They got the jail full anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Send them folks back. But if he now says, well, let me go after some of the undocumented people that are working, how is that going to impact the corporations that are utilizing their labor?
Right.
So those are some of the things that we want to look for as traders. Like, how does the market, how are they going to respond to some of those activities? And what's going to be the time frame? Because I know it's politics. They're going to say something, but we talk about once they get in, then they got to try to figure out what they actually can do.
Well, did you see who they put in place? I think people have short-term memory and everybody forgets. Obama was one of the highest deportation presidents ever. Yeah. And who's the guy they just hired back on? Obama's former deportation specialist. So when I hear people go, you know, oh, he's got these rednecks, I was like, wait a minute, that was Obama's.
Exactly.
That was y'all boy Obama's. You know, Obama sent so many Africans home. They was mad with Obama in Africa. Okay. Yeah. They was going up to Canada through New York. Okay. I posted it again in the comments. I see you guys' comments. I'm getting to them. There are more questions. I see y'all. I'm not gonna ignore you. I know I told y'all put questions in. I see you. Okay. I'm going back up. Hold on. I see your questions.
Yeah. And so we had midpoint of the month. Those sales will be off November 30th. So I want to encourage people, don't wait. You don't have to wait until the last week. We're going to go ahead and just, move forward. Let's get to it.
And I've already seen over 720 people hit the link. So I know y'all in there looking. Yeah. You know, get on that Friday paycheck when you're ready. But I see you looking. Dave, is your course fundamentals only? I've been wanting to learn how to because I see a lot of trading courses on technical analysis.
Okay, so here's a great example. Both the core course and also the VIP course go from the basics all the way up to advanced, right? And so that's another reason, Matthew Lewis, I want to encourage you to get in now because what we're going to do in 2025 is we're going to take that core course. We're probably going to break that up because I think we gave too much information. Okay. But what it does currently now is it takes you from a beginner's level, introductory level, explains you what options are, yada, 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 and gets you more what I would call applied trading. And also things of that nature to where, you kind of understand how to really look at the market from a macro standpoint all the way down to a micro standpoint. The VIP, the benefit of that is you get more content. You also get more one-on-one consulting. You also get the mindset coaching. But both courses will take you from the beginner level, where you learn the basic fundamentals of the market, up to more advanced level. Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna read some of these out here. Dave's course is a must-have. He breaks down the fundamentals and habits that will help you understand the market and create good habits and what to look for. Thank you, Drip Code. Okay. He said, I frequent often to get back on track.
Okay, I appreciate
it. Listen, I know a story of a guy, he was doing good, got up to 70K, lost it all. I don't know what happened. Yeah. But I guess he got off track. So if you need the course to get back on track, please do that. Somebody said, is this course beginner friendly?
Yes, it is. So we talked about, we start you with the fundamentals of, getting you to understand what options are, what's the goal of an option, how do they work, yada, yada, yada. Everything is basic. And then we bring you up to more advanced concepts. And you get that whether you get the core course or you get the VIP course. They're both based on the same framework. And Drip talked about it. The goal of the course is to be a resource to you. Because often people do get off track. One thing we do as humans is often we create a system to be successful. Once we get successful, we start doing different stuff.
We start looking for big booty business.
Exactly. So sometimes we got to go back to our fundamentals and understand what allowed us to become successful and go back to it. And that's what the course is designed to do. It's really, I'm not teaching you like stuff I got off of Investopedia. I'm directly teaching you, this is what I had to learn how to do to become successful in the markets. And this is the same stuff I'm doing day in and day out. And I'm going to kind of show some of that stuff later this week, is that, my idea around taking profit. I had to be a student of my own lessons in taking profit and realizing that if there's profit on the table and it hit my parameters, you got to take it off the table, go do something else.
Yeah, because you're just people. I'm telling you, when I watched that TV show, that girl, she was like, it's going up, it's going up. I'm like, he's on the phone with her, sell now. And you're like, girl, you greedy. Now that's greedy. Yeah. That's too much. I got to get this course. Pathfinder, I put it in the comments. They said the VIP course is like working on your MBA. I feel New York Mayor Adams has been busing undocumented back to the places they were bused for. He cut off the meals. Well, here's the thing. Here's the problem with that. Because there's buses here in Austin that line up on a particular street. If you're here from Austin, you know where the police station is. There's a parking lot right across the police station. And it lines up every day. It's 3 buses. And the people look like they just came out of, not Target. What was the place they used to close? It's Kmart. Like somebody put them on some little nice clean clothes, and they have a bag, and they be standing at the bus with their paper, they little ticket paper. And they still busting them people on where they got to go. And if you actually talk to some of them, they'll ask you, where do you have family? And where do you want to go? And them people is not here willy-nilly. They got family somewhere. Yeah. Now, what does this do for our country? I'm stopping a mule from taking advantage of somebody trying to get home to Chicago.
Yeah.
I'm stopping a dangerous man from taking a woman who's just trying to get back to where her family told her they at and get over there on a bus. So I know we like to demonize Texas for busing people, but a lot of people asked to go to Chicago. A lot of people asked to go to New York. A lot of people asked to go to Florida, where they had friends and family. One of the Vietnamese Uber drivers he said he wanted to go to Atlanta. He had a cousin here in Texas, and he said his cousin said, I'm not paying you to go to Atlanta. You're going to have to make some money and get yourself to Atlanta.
I feel you.
So, he driving for Uber now here and for however long, I don't know, but you got to realize the busing system they're using is stopping mules, is stopping sexual trafficking.
Yeah.
It has a purpose. I know we want to demonize Texas, but I promise you, it has a purpose. It stops some dangerous stuff going on. Because some of them people were very young that was standing out there. I was like, ugh. But they by the police station. So if you grab them, the police can see you out the window. That's on you if you want to be that crazy. Thank you for answering. Good perspective. We still have Thanksgiving and Christmas rush, which are always tradable.
Yeah, definitely.
I want y'all to think like that. His course is beginner friendly. Thank you. Y'all got a lot of stuff in here. Okay. Say you're doing God's work. Blessings always.
Appreciate
all right.
Go. Everybody got their ministry.
There you go. If y'all have any more questions, if y'all got any more, this is the time to ask. Okay. The doors of the pews are open. Okay. Right. Yeah, so this is the good time to ask, because what happens is you'll leave here, you'll have some question on your mind. You think, well, that's a dumb question, I shouldn't ask it. And there is no dumb question.
Exactly. No dumb question.
What you're going to see is a lot of people are going to make money coming up.
Yeah.
And you're still upset about Trump winning. And now you get into March where it's new year, new you.
Yep.
And now you got to play catch up when you got 47 days to study, educate yourself, and figure out some stuff here. You know what I mean?
I just don't want people to miss out on the opportunity. I'm just very passionate. Don't allow this other stuff to kind of throw you off your trajectory. Right? Just lock in on what you're trying to do and understand how you got to maybe adjust some things and keep doing what you're doing. Because there's just so much, really before the election, but even now, it's just so much fear factor that's not going to benefit you. It's not the end of the world that somebody became president. I don't get how we're supposed to believe this. So I just wouldn't buy into it. I would try to figure out what am I doing? How can I get started now? And then roll that in the new year. When the new year hits, you hit the ground running.
Right.
Yeah.
And also it gives you time to study.
Exactly.
I noticed there was this person talking online and they'd only do paper trades, and they've been doing paper trades for 2 years. And I'm like, what's that about?
I don't know. Maybe they're trying to get their strategy down. I don't know. Trying to get their strategy down.
And somebody says, does Diamond Dave do Forex trade Forex?
Okay. So between me and you, which is Raymond, I am looking at going to different asset classes, but I don't want to say that because I don't want to how do I say? I don't want to distract people from what we're talking about right now.
Gotcha.
So we're primarily talking about equities and stock options. So I am in 2025 looking to get into different asset classes, but I don't want to distract people from what we're talking about. But I don't teach any asset class except stock options, which really correlates with equity trading. Yeah.
I don't reframe your question, Terrence. DD, are you also creating a stock course? If I heard correctly, like
yeah. So I do. So to be real with you, and I don't want to distract what we're talking about. The goal is to kind of maybe start talking about long-term investing.
Okay, gotcha.
Just general stock investing. So yeah, we're going to be probably talking about that more next month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think I commented on your video. I said make a new channel, because there's something about dividend stocks got these people in a chokehold. They be like, dividend stocks, and they look up every video on dividend stocks that they can ever find. Let me see. If you guys are looking in the chat, I have the link, and a lot of people sometimes nervous to click on links. This is what, let me kick that off. This is what it looks like when you get there. And I love it that you say the highest paid part-time job in the world, because, you know, there's several people I know right now. Oh man, I might need to get a part-time job. And I'll be wanting to say, you can, but there's a different way to do this. So
yeah, definitely.
Excuse me. Sorry.
Bless you.
But yeah, this is what the page looks like when you guys get there. That's how you know you're in the right space. You got the testimonials. Okay. You got different commentary. Okay. People getting ready. They got their tea out. They ready to go. All right. Yeah. And you guys can check all this stuff out on your own. Click the links. Feel free to check it out for yourself. But Diamond Dave, you know, thank you for coming on.
Appreciate it. I'm glad to be here, man. Really glad to, you know, try to add some value to your audience, and just want to encourage people, take advantage of the opportunities. Drip Consulting, think it's a good idea to run options through an LLC. What I would do is tell you to reach out to Brandy. Is it accounting tax?
Yes, Williams Accounting Tax.
Williams Accounting Tax. She's an expert at that type of stuff. She'll give you the best information. I spoke to her before. I would ask you to ask her because she's a tax professional. And she'll give you the correct information you can move forward with.
Thank you, Cedric Webb. Take advantage of the Black Friday sale, 40% off core and VIP. Diamond Dave is a master at options trading, period.
Appreciate it, Mr. Webb. Appreciate it, man.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for being here. Listen, we got you another week coming through. And, you know, by the time next week comes, there's going to be some more drama in the news. So I'm excited for it.
That's what I'm talking about. I feel you.
Because it's every day is something new going on out there. Thank you, Cedric, for the $10. And then also, I didn't miss it. Thank you, PhD Program 2012.
Yeah.
Salute to Erica and Diamond Dave. Both have been incredible to learn from. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Thank y'all for all supporting the channel and supporting the cause here. You guys be amazed how much time it takes to make these videos and make them good, make them informative. It's a fun thing, but also it is a time thing. And so I definitely want y'all to be able to make some income from this. Yeah. I don't want you just watching our videos forever. I want you to get out here, trade, practice, make some money, because I've sat in a couple of groups today where people restarted their mastermind groups because the money had been moving around so much.
Yep.
So I thought that was interesting, the behavior I've been seeing out here lately. So this is good stuff. And I want you to learn from people who didn't just pop up overnight. That's the best way to say that. I don't want you to learn from just fly by night anybody. So Diamond Dave, give them some good words and tell them where they can find you on the internet.
Find me YouTube, Diamond Dave, Instagram, Diamond_David Williams. And I just want to encourage everybody, put their best foot forward. Take advantage of the sales, 40% off. That's going to be the lowest price all year. And I know that once you get the course, you're going to realize that the value you got is way greater than the price that you paid, right? We're going to continue to stick with you. So even though I'm going to talk about a little bit of long-term trading, still going to be doing the options trading because I'm very passionate about it. Because something I'm very passionate about is trying to help people solve a lot of their income issues. And I really believe that if you just develop the skills in this economy, you can solve some of those problems that'll open up more doors for you to do different things, right? And so I'm about providing a solution instead of us just sitting around talking about the problem all day. Let's provide some solutions to people. Let's do good business with people, and let's try to figure out how we can help people with what we can bring to the table, and then allow them to benefit from it, and they can go live their best life.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it's better than doing poker on the side with Ray and them. So
I feel you. Dice and stuff like that.
Let's do some professional stuff. All right, you guys, this is your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog. Thank you so much for being here for our professional November. I hope you guys are encouraged and you get active this weekend, because guess what? It's 47 days. It's plenty of time to learn. And you just heard what he called it, Santa Claus rally.
Definitely.
Okay, we want to get in where the money is moving.
Yep.
And I thank you guys for your time today. You guys have a great night. You've probably been seeing these commercials for Middleman to Millions course. What is Middleman to Millions? We're teaching so many people how to have service businesses. The upcoming year, one of the fastest growing businesses you will see are service businesses and digital businesses. Why is that? Because so many things need repairs, need maintenance. And guess what? We have a shortage of men and also women who could do things. Listen, I'm not the best with a hammer, but I know I can gather a crew of people to get things done. And that's what I've done with 2 of my service businesses. And that's what I'll be teaching if you check us out in the Middleman to Millions course. And look forward to us on the road with Digital Liberty Tour 2024. It's Girl Erica Williams.